Did you have any other requirements you wanted to discuss?
Slight change of tack there. One we did comment, we did have a few, well, one subject we had a few comments on is the storage, saving and storage of images. Actually, when it goes through the scanner, takes a picture, do those images need to be saved? Are they needed? Often they are used for write-ins. Obviously a machine cannot decipher handwriting, but is it really necessary to have all ballot images to be stored on the system?
So Paul Lux again. Just let me know when you're all tired of hearing from me, because so I have very strong feelings on this, and having been involved in one lawsuit already surrounding it in my dear old home state of Florida, Fox et al. Versus Detzner, it got tossed. So my perspective is, right, so public records laws rather generically have provisions for things that are obsolete, superseded, or have lost their administrative value. We just call them OSA for short. And to me, that image is OSA. I have the piece of paper that the image was created from. I have the output, which is the results that have been tabulated. And if I need to double check those, I can go back and check the paper. I liken it to a person walks into my office and says, Paul, I would like a copy of this piece of paper right here. It's a public record. I'd like a copy of it. I walk over to my copy machine, which is digital. I put it on the glass. I press the button. It creates an image of that. It writes it somewhere in all of the mechanics of my digital copier, and then it spits out a copy. And I said, I have my original, which I put back in the file, and I have the copy you asked for, which I provide you. And you're telling me that that image in the middle is so important that it needs to be saved. And I say, no, it doesn't. Now, the person I had this argument with said, those things aren't even the same at all. And I said, actually, they're really similar. And conveniently, I was left off the witness list because no one wanted to hear Paul say that anywhere. So it has been addressed in Florida, and we have a lawsuit history to back that up. And that's where I'm at.
And DOJ might have something to say about that as well. I said DOJ might have something to say about that as well, and I know that they don't give guidance necessarily, but that question came up when I was at DOJ on what needed to be saved for the 22 months. So it's a good question. Commissioner Palmer.
Thank you, Commissioner Palmer. Just clarifying on the comment, was it regarding a short-term saving or a long-term saving? I mean, I think, and this is based on, remember that, short-term saving of the image there's some benefits to that you can have post-election. But for the long term or for the next election, are there issues regarding they have to be off the machine before you administer the next election? So, the capacity of the voting machine to store those for long periods of time is not possible if you have another election in the next 3-6 months. So what was the statement of how long to save images?
It wasn't really directly sort of addressed how long, but it was very much for not keep it on the scanner itself, but obviously would upload it to the EMS along with all the other ballot data. So you would have it as part of the database on the voting system's EMS.
Okay, and so that some manufacturers provide that currently?
I think they're all do to the moment. It's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement.
Yeah, and that's largely our thing. It's not a requirement, but some feel it should be a requirement.
Well, and if I could provide some context to my earlier remarks, right? So most systems give you an option to either save all of the images, save write-in images, save no images. Those are like your 3 radio button options in your election management system. If you select save all images, it does just that. Every one of those digital images it creates, that it interprets before it moves the counters, it saves them. I can tell you in a system where I only save write-in images in a general election, I can fit roughly 10,000 ballots onto one of my memory devices before I worry about it. If I start saving images, I'm going to have to start changing those memory devices much, much more often because they simply do not have the memory capacity to do that. And I can tell you that from the upload process for getting those images into your election management system where they can then be managed, stored offline, etc. You are talking about the difference between uploading a memory stick that takes, a minute and a half to one full of images that you can plug it in, start transferring the data, go grab a cup of coffee, take a break, check your email, come back, and maybe it has finished in 30, 40 minutes. It is a massive drag on the system. So I save write-in images in general elections. Remember, I said OSA, right? Obsolete, superseded, or lost administrative value. There's absolutely, to me, administrative value in saving the write-in images because I use them to, rather than hand-picking through thousands of pieces of paper looking for the write-in images, I have the machine save them for me, and for every one of those, it does save the image, and yes, I do save those images for 22 months. But I don't need, or I don't see administrative value in saving all of those images for the 22 months, or at all, in point of fact.
Any other comments on that topic? Well, we just have a few minutes before we call for lunch, so if there's some last topic we want to discuss in the next few minutes, anything? Paul, do you have anything you want to bring up?
Nothing
Or John?
additional.
No?
I think so.
Okay, so